Every hidden advantage of your genetic ancestry explained. African, East Asian, South Asian, European, Indigenous American, Middle Eastern, Southeast Asian, and Australian. Let's go.
African roots. Let's start at the very beginning. Because if your DNA traces back to sub-Saharan Africa, congratulations, you are carrying the oldest human genetic code on the planet. Scientists call Africa the cradle of humanity, which is a fancy way of saying everyone else is basically a remix of you. But beyond
Take that one, racists. What are you gonna do about that? You're African.
Beyond bragging rights at the dinner table, there are real, documented biological advantages baked into this ancestry. People with deep West African roots tend to have a higher ratio of fast-twitch muscle fibers. These are the muscle fibers responsible for explosive power and speed. This isn't a myth. It's the reason athletes with this ancestry have dominated sprinting events for decades. Usain Bolt didn't just train hard.
My favorite
His muscles were
West African.
built different. Then there's bone density. Studies have consistently shown that individuals of African descent have significantly higher bone mineral density than other populations. What does that mean practically? Lower rates of osteoporosis, stronger skeletal structure. You're basically walking around with reinforced bones while everyone else is hoping their calcium supplement kicks.
This shit's like, bro, you know in Siege you like ban a fucking thing? That's not fair, bro. That's some bullshit, bro. They got better stats. Well, actually, we don't know the other ones yet, but...
Populations adapted to equatorial climates developed more efficient sweat glands and a higher density of them, allowing the body to cool itself faster under extreme heat. If you've ever watched someone of West African ancestry barely break a sweat while others are melting, now you know why. And here's the wildest...
Yeah, I think up until I was like 14, I was probably West African. Because I just never sweated. Like, never. I work hard. I never sweat. Doing exercise, and then I hit like 15, 16. Now I just be sweating, bro. It's some bullshit.
Genetic diversity. Sub-Saharan African populations have more genetic diversity than the rest of the entire world combined. The rest of humanity is genetically a narrowed subset of African variation. That diversity means a broader immune response toolkit, more variation in disease resistance, and frankly, more evolutionary options on the table. Think of it this way. While everyone else is working from an edited highlight reel, African ancestry is carrying the full uncut director's edition of human DNA.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Asian. If East Asian ancestry were a product, the tagline would be optimized for longevity.
Oh yeah, bro. You ever see like, if you think there's like the oldest person ever, you know it's not the oldest person because there's some like Japanese woman who's 160.
Maintenance, extremely efficient. East Asian populations, particularly those from China, Japan, Korea, and surrounding regions have some of the highest average lifespans on Earth. Japan consistently tops global longevity charts.
Damn!
And it's not just the diet, though. The diet does slap. It's also genetics. One well-studied advantage is a variant in the ALDH2 gene, which affects alcohol metabolism. Now, you might be thinking, wait, doesn't that cause flushing and discomfort? Yes, it does. But here's the plot twist.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That very reaction is also believed to be protective against alcoholism. Your genes are literally saying, you've had enough. Go home.
I don't know about that one, bro. I don't know about that one. You ever see the videos of like Japanese dudes on the street? They drink so much, they just go to sleep in their work uniform, like a suit. They wake up and go to work the next day. They never go home. It's not like super common, obviously, but I don't know about that one, bro. I know some East Asians who be drinking a lot.
That's not a disadvantage. That's a built-in responsible drinking policy. East Asian populations also tend to have lower rates of cardiovascular disease in certain genetic subgroups, partly linked to cholesterol metabolism differences. Some studies have noted higher frequencies of genetic variants associated with lower LDL cholesterol levels. There's also earwax. Yes, earwax. What? East Asian ancestry is associated with a gene variant, ABCC11, that produces dry, flaky earwax instead of wet, sticky earwax. This same gene also reduces body odor. Less odor, less earwax.
But that's only like, that's not that common, bro.
And I'm genuinely jealous. Skin aging is another one. Higher melanin concentration and thicker dermis in many East Asian individuals means statistically slower visible aging. The phrase, doesn't age, isn't just a compliment. It's partially written in the genome. Science has officially confirmed what the internet has suspected for years. Some people just came pre-installed with an anti-aging patch the rest of us never received.
Well, it's just like, bro, black and Asian people just age better. Simple as, bro. I'm sorry. But then some Asian people, when they be hitting like, they look 60 years old when they're 89. They hit 90 and they look 400.
South Asian. South Asian ancestry spanning India, Pakistan,
Let's
Bangladesh,
go.
Sri Lanka, and Nepal.
Shouts
comes with
out
a
Pakistan
fascinating
and Nepal,
biological
bro.
story. It's complex, a little contradictory, and absolutely worth unpacking. Here's the paradox. South Asian populations have a higher genetic predisposition to certain metabolic conditions like type 2 diabetes.
Oh shit.
But before you close the tab, that same metabolic sensitivity is a double-edged sword
Fuck.
because it also means the body is incredibly responsive to dietary and lifestyle changes. What hurts you faster can also heal you faster. Where South Asian ancestry genuinely shines is cognitive and neurological diversity. South Asian populations carry some of the highest concentrations of genetic variants linked to high IQ scores in international studies, though.
Damn, bro,
It's
because I know some stupid people from some of the places named, bro. Just kidding. They're actually all smart.
Worth noting that intelligence is wildly polygenic and influenced by environment, but the data exists and it's interesting. More concretely, there's lactase persistence. A significant portion of South Asian populations carry variants, allowing them to digest dairy well into adulthood, useful in cultures where dairy is a dietary
Wait, what? When you get older, you can't have dairy? Fuck, bro. I be having dairy all the time, bro. Oh, no.
staple and spiritual cornerstone simultaneously. Your ability to enjoy paneer guilt-free is, in part, genetic destiny. South Asia is also a genetic crossroads, a meeting point of ancient migrations
I'm right
from
there,
Africa,
bro. Just
Central
out of
Asia, and Southeast Asia. That
Burma mentioned?
mixing means South Asian genomes carry extraordinary variation, which translates to a broader immune response range. Diverse ancestry equals diverse immunity. It's math. And unlike the math on your tax return, this kind actually works in your favor. European genes. Let's talk about Europeans. Specifically, what happens when a group of humans migrates north? The sun disappears for 6 months, and evolution has to improvise.
Yeah, bro.
The most famous European genetic adaptation is light skin, a relatively recent development.
Adaptation, you hear that? You're not normal, white people. We're not normal, white people. Sorry, my bad.
Speaking. About 8,000 to 10,000 years ago, European populations began shifting toward lighter pigmentation. Why? Because in low sunlight environments, lighter skin produces vitamin D more efficiently from whatever weak sunlight exists. Vitamin D deficiency is no joke. It affects bone health, immune function, mood, and more. Light skin in Northern Europeans is essentially a solar panel upgrade for a cloudy climate. Then there's lactase persistence.
What?
Europeans, particularly Northern Europeans, have the highest rates of lactase persistence in the
Wait,
world.
what does persistence mean? They can have it?
Meaning they can digest
Yes, bro. Alright, bro.
as adults
We're good.
at rates approaching 90% in some Scandinavian populations. This was a massive evolutionary advantage when agriculture brought cattle into the picture. Suddenly, there was a giant, calorie-dense, protein-rich food source that only some people could digest.
That's a crazy goon session on
Europeans
the
hit
top.
that genetic jackpot. There's also cold weather adaptation. Northern European populations developed more efficient fat metabolism in cold conditions. Thicker subcutaneous fat distribution in certain groups helps retain heat.
Don't give them the fucking, like, go ahead, bro. That's not, you can't just cut them some slack. If you're fat, it ain't because you're European, bro. I'm sorry. Move on.
It's not glamorous, but when it's minus 30 degrees Celsius outside, efficiency is everything. And Neanderthal DNA, yes, really. Europeans and Asians carry about 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA, more than sub-Saharan Africans.
Fuck,
Some of
bro,
those
I'm like
Neanderthal
10%
gene
Neanderthal.
variants are linked to stronger immune responses to specific pathogens, as Neanderthals had been surviving European environments for hundreds of thousands of years. Evolution recycled some of their best work. So the next time someone calls you a Neanderthal,
Bro, he looks
technically
like
depending on your
me.
ancestry,
What the
that's
hell?
a partial compliment with scientific backing. Indigenous American. Indigenous peoples of the Americas developed in remarkable geographic isolation after crossing into the continent roughly 15,000 to 20,000 years ago. What that
That's a long time before the white Americans, bro. I don't know, man. Something's not adding up.
isolation created was a gene pool finely tuned to the Western Hemisphere's environments, from Arctic tundra to equatorial Amazon.
Fire song, bro. I don't know why they gave it to Nicki Minaj, but shout out Arctic Tundra, bro.
to high-altitude Andes. High-altitude adaptation is perhaps the most striking. Andean populations, particularly Quechua and Aymara peoples, carry genetic variants that allow them to thrive at elevations that would give most people a splitting headache and altitude sickness. Their bodies efficiently use oxygen at lower atmospheric pressures through adaptations in hemoglobin production and cardiovascular function. They live at 4,000 meters like it's nothing. You'd be gasping. Cold tolerance in Arctic indigenous populations like the Inuit involves genetic variants affecting fatty acid metabolism.
I are indigenous. Like, I feel like they gotta be similar to, like, Filipinos and Mongolians, bro. Like a mix of Filipinos and Mongolians. I feel like that's what a indigenous American is. Or like a Mexican too.
Genetics allow more efficient conversion of marine fat into usable body heat. They can subsist on diets that are almost entirely fat and protein and remain in peak metabolic health. No keto influencer has anything on this. This is the original. Indigenous American populations also have some of the lowest rates of certain autoimmune conditions linked to specific immune gene variants. There's also evidence of unique gut microbiome compositions in some groups that provide superior digestion of native plant foods and resistance to certain gastrointestinal infections. Thousands of years eating directly from the land didn't just build culture, it rebuilt biology from the inside out. Middle Eastern populations from the Middle East and North Africa, an area stretching from Morocco to Iran, have been shaped by thousands of years of desert survival, urban civilization, and being literally at the crossroads of 3 continents. Heat and aridity adaptation are the standout traits. MENA populations developed physiological responses to extreme heat that include efficient kidney function to conserve water, lower resting sweat rates, sweating strategically, not wastefully, and cardiovascular adjustments that keep blood pressure stable in hot, dry conditions. There's also an extraordinary immune heritage. The Middle East was home to some of the world's first cities: Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, the Levant. Dense urban living for thousands of years meant exposure to every pathogen imaginable. The populations that survived did so because they developed robust immune genetics. Modern descendants carry some of that pathogen-fighting legacy in their HLA gene variants. The genes that
Why don't we just take all these genes this guy's talking about, like these good genes that we be fucking with, and just like mix it, bro, into one absolute gangster person, bro. And that'd just be bossed up. Every gene.
Govern immune response. Certain MENA populations also show resistance to specific diseases. Familial Mediterranean fever is well known in the region, but interestingly, carriers of one copy of the gene, not 2, may have an advantage in fighting certain inflammatory infections. Nature's compromise, and mathematically and spatially, MENA populations were the foundation of algebra, astronomy, and early medicine. Whether that's genetic or cultural legacy is a debate for philosophers, but the mathematical traditions encoded in these cultures for millennia are worth acknowledging. They were calculating the movement of stars while the rest of the world was still arguing about whether the sun was a god or just a very aggressive rock. Southeast Asian ancestry, encompassing Thailand, Vietnam, the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, and surrounding islands, produced one of the most remarkable.
That don't look like an island to me, broski. Put some respect on it.
Human adaptations ever documented. The Bajau people of maritime Southeast Asia are essentially human seals. They can free dive to depths of 60+ meters and hold their breath for 13 minutes. Scientists studied their genetics and found that the Bajau have spleens significantly larger than neighboring land-based populations. The spleen acts as an oxygen reserve during diving. It contracts and releases oxygenated red blood cells into circulation. Their PDE10A gene variant is responsible. It's a real, measurable genetic superpower. Beyond the Bajau, Southeast Asian populations broadly show strong malaria resistance variants. Given that much of the region is tropical and historically malaria endemic, this makes complete sense. Certain hemoglobin variants common in the region protect against severe malaria outcomes, the same way sickle cell trait protects in West Africa. There's also exceptional fine motor skill and visual spatial processing found in many Southeast Asian populations in research contexts. Whether genetic or developmental, populations with multi-generational traditions of intricate craftsmanship, textile work, and agriculture show measurable advantages in these areas.
That's
Skin
crazy. It
resilience
just
is
be
another
sticking
one.
in.
Melanin levels across most Southeast Asian populations provide meaningful UV protection, reducing skin cancer risk while still allowing efficient vitamin D synthesis in tropical sun.
But that's why people wear like what's it called, bro? Like, you know, the bark. You like grind it up and you put it on your face and your arms when you're working outside. I forget what it's called, but that stuff to like stop the UV or whatever.
Conditions. It's
On
a
your
better
cheeks and
balance
stuff.
than either extreme. Not too much sun damage, not too little vitamin D. Southeast Asian genetics essentially figured out the SPF equation before sunscreen was even invented.
I never wore sunscreen before, bro. Never. Someone put it on my arms once, I think, but I've never like had it on my neck or anything. I don't burn. I just be chilling, bro. I don't spend too long in the sun. Skin cancer and me, we don't go well together, bro. I won't get that. Don't worry.
Anian blood. Last but absolutely not least, and possibly the most jaw-dropping genetic story on this list.
What?
Aboriginal Australians carry the oldest continuous cultural and genetic lineage outside of Africa. Their ancestors arrived in Australia approximately 50,000 to 65,000 years ago and adapted to one of the harshest, most unforgiving environments on Earth. The Australian outback does not care about you.
Yeah, for real. How did they survive out there, bro? Shout out to the Aboriginals.
It is actively trying to kill you, and yet they thrived. Aboriginal Australians developed exceptional spatial navigation and environmental reading abilities over tens of thousands of years. Research has documented extraordinary long-distance tracking and survival skills that are partly trained and partly supported by genetics, influencing spatial cognition development. People navigate hundreds of kilometers of featureless desert using stars, wind, and geological markers. Heat and drought endurance are also genetically encoded. Their bodies conserve water with remarkable efficiency, and certain metabolic adaptations allow extended high-performance function on minimal calories, crucial in feast and famine environments. Pacific Islanders, Polynesians, Melanesians, Micronesians are the world's greatest ocean navigators by ancestry. Polynesian ancestors crossed thousands of miles of open ocean in canoes using only stars, wave patterns, and biological intuition. Genetic research has identified variants linked to exceptional cardiovascular endurance that allowed their ancestors to sustain physical exertion across multi-week ocean voyages with limited food and water. Polynesian populations also carry variants associated with greater muscle mass and bone density, a physique
they be
built for ocean
huge,
survival.
bro.
It's why Polynesian athletes are consistently overrepresented in contact sports worldwide. They didn't train for this. Their ancestors
absolute beasts, bro.
And perhaps most fascinating, Melanesian populations carry a small percentage of Denisovan DNA, a mysterious ancient human species distinct from Neanderthals. What advantages those genes confer is still being studied, but carrying DNA from a species we barely understand? That's not a disadvantage. That's being genetically ahead of the research. Scientists are literally still trying to figure out what this DNA does, which means Melanesian ancestry is walking around with features that haven't even been fully decoded yet. That's not a genome. That's a mystery box. Every ancestry is a survival story. Every genome is a record of what your ancestors endured, adapted to, and overcame. You didn't just inherit their looks. You inherited their solutions.
That was a good video. There wasn't a lot I could really say in it, but it was interesting. This guy's white. I mean, European. We know that. Yeah. Facts, bro. Let's give that one a like. Sure, bro. Not for me though. But anyway, like and subscribe, and go check out the Human Decode if you want to watch more of those.